Hi, Linda.
Hi, Matt. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good, good. How's the weather out there in California?
Well, it's cold. I think it's going to be, hold on. It's going to be 66 today, but it's sunny.
Ah,
And it has rained. Let's see, it rained the day before yesterday, it was raining. And yesterday it was really cold. We had frost warnings. I had just planted some roses in my garden out front. And we planted them on Sunday, and then we had frost on Monday and Tuesday. So it's a little cold here, but things are starting to get sunny. It's supposed to be 70 degrees here in a couple of days, and beautiful. How's it out there?
well, down here it's in the low 80s, and the sun is supposed to be out, but we have a one of those controlled burns, and we have the sky is yellow. So, but otherwise, it's a beautiful day down here in Palm Bay, Florida. I had to think for a minute where I was.
Hi, Cindy. Glad you can join us.
And Levi's here too.
Look at that. So I have an update about COVID from the state of California.
Oh, tell me.
So they are actually opening Disneyland. The state is going to allow them to open Disneyland on the 1st of April. And Disneyland is going to be reopened on the 30th of April.
Oh, wow. I should have checked on Disney World.
Oh, Disney World's been open for months. Florida didn't close down. Oh yeah, Florida never closed anything down. So we're in the process of reopening, and I got some other news from the convention center that they should have guidance reopening from the governor's office in the next 2 weeks.
Ooh.
So that doesn't mean they're going to open in the next 2 weeks, but that means we should at least know what in the world it's going to look like when we do open in the next couple of months here. So that's very exciting.
I'm excited.
I am too. I think we're starting to get back to normal here.
But we do have another Road at Home coming, though.
We do. We have Road at Home May, and it's happening May 21 through 23rd, and it's a little bit different. One of the main things that we're focusing on is we're turning this Road at Home concept into a conference. Linda, do you know what a conference is rather than a convention?
Yeah.
Yeah, what is it? Yeah, I thought so. So back in the day when Road was started, it was started as a conference, which meant classes and events only. So we're actually going to be focusing Road at Home May solely on classes and events.
Awesome.
So the vendors will still have listings, but we're not focusing on the quilt show aspect of it. We're really focusing on the education end of it so that everybody can really learn. And part of that is we went through and we recruited a whole gamut of really high-end, great, talented quilting teachers. And that's your job, isn't it?
That's my job. Yeah, and my little pet job is our professional development program, because I think it is just really, really taking off, and we're addressing all kinds of different things for people, and it's not just people that want to go teach or whatever out nationally. It's for the long arm quilter who wants to start a business. Everybody's making quilt tops during COVID. They got to get them quilted. Or you might be, teaching at your quilt guild and you want to do better for yourself. So we're really making a target of that and providing all kinds of different things for people so that they can make themselves better.
Well, and it's not an isolated thing for just Road at Home in May either. You're going to see more and more professional development classes start to appear in, Road to California that we're holding in January, in Road at Home in May, and who knows what else we're going to come up with. We're kind of crazy around here, so Road at Home May might not be the last Road at Home before Road to California in January. Not sure yet, but it might not be.
Yeah, so just keep us busy. Keep us busy.
Absolutely.
We will keep you educated, that's for sure.
Yep. So I'm going to read a little short bio about our next guest, who happens to be one of those fantastic wrote-at-home teachers that we had talked about. So Charlotte writes for us, while shopping with her mother in 1977, and yes, it really was that long ago, Charlotte wandered into a quilt shop and everything changed from there. Educated in fine arts, speech, and drama, she brings a variety of talents to the classroom and in a most humorous way. Sounds like somebody I know, Linda. She has been teaching quilt making since 1978 because somebody asked Charlotte to teach her. Her first quilt was sold right after making it, and she has sold many quilts ever since. In 1981, Charlotte opened a quilt shop, Quilt Works in Virginia Beach, Virginia. She sold the shop in 1999, and my personal note here, I don't think she's ever looked back.
No.
She began teaching nationally and internationally since 1991 and now lives in Lafayette, Louisiana, and she moved there in 2016. Quilt Maker Studio was started when Charlotte realized there's a few leftover kits now and then. The orphan kits are sometimes available on the website, but more often offered for sale in other classes as she travels. The kits are so popular, it's difficult to get them online before they are sold. Her kits are laser cut and go together perfectly. They make sewing a quilt simply as good as it gets. It has been said many times, if you hear laughter coming from a room, there's a good chance Charlotte is there. Charlotte is known for humor, her way with color and fabric, her pre-cut kits, and her book, Surprise Yourself. Charlotte is a fun person to have on faculty or as a teacher to come to your guild. She believes her hobby is quilt making, her job is teaching others to enjoy it as much as she does. That was a great bio, and it sounds like we're having a lot of fun. So let's bring Charlotte on.
Charlotte, come on down.
Hello. How are you this morning?
Good. How are
It's afternoon
you?
here. I'm good. How
What's
are
the
you?
weather like over there by you?
Well, the sun comes out, the sun goes away, the clouds come in, the clouds go back. It's supposed to pour tonight. So it's everything. What would you like?
Anything but a hurricane.
Anything but a hurricane.
Right?
That would be, if we got a hurricane in March, I would have to move.
Yeah.
I really would.
So Charlotte, where did we meet? We met in an elevator.
We did? That sounds exciting. Where were we?
We're at AQS in Paducah.
Really? In Paducah? I know we were in the lobby, but I don't remember being in an elevator. But we could have been
Oh,
in
the lobby.
the lobby. Because there was a picture the other day
Who
with
did
you in the
meet in
flower.
elevator, Linda?
Yeah, what elevator were you in?
This is one of those things that I should not be allowed to talk to people in elevators. I talk to anybody, and I really
Okay.
do.
Usually by the time those doors close, I'm asleep. They open up. I'm there.
Yeah, I shouldn't be talking to people in the elevator. Yeah, Charlotte, we met in the elevator in Paducah, and I was starstruck. It was my
From me?
first, yeah, it was my first
funny.
national show that I was teaching at, and I was just starstruck, and I didn't even know whether I should talk to you or not.
Did you?
I did. I said like, hi.
Then I go, hello. Because there are those little people you don't want to talk to.
Wait a minute. Is this an actual story where Linda Hahn ran out of words?
Yeah,
I'm shocked and astounded that she would be starstruck by me.
yeah,
I'm just shocked she ran out of words.
yeah,
You
yeah.
have two shocked people here, Linda.
Yeah, they were just like, hi. And I was like, I didn't know whether to even tell you who I was. I didn't say anything stupid, so I figured that's okay.
Oh, well, there's a bonus for you then, because if I'm starstruck, I usually go, la, 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 la.
So we also taught, I don't know if Jillian has that picture.
Yeah, she does.
Probably does. Yeah, you probably shared things with her. That's the one in the lobby
Yeah, that's,
in Lancaster.
yeah. And I know you wanted that hat.
Oh yeah, you know I wanted that flower. That looks more like us.
Yeah. Yeah.
More like us. Man, we've aged, huh?
So to give you that story for that, I was wearing this hat and it was flowers, and Charlotte really, really wanted it.
That's not the story.
That's the we have a disagreement. So what is the story, Charlotte?
The story is I was checking out a hotel. That's my hotel key in my hand. And this woman with a flower in her hair came up and said, take a picture, take a picture. And I said, okay. And I did. And then she said, I know you want my flower. And I went, okay, no.
You know who has that hat now? It actually didn't come home with me.
Well, I'm sure somebody wanted it.
Yeah, Ginny from AQS. She took the hat.
There you go. And isn't it like a hairband?
Yeah, it was one of those hats that the bombers wear, with the flaps coming down. It was purple buffalo plaid and it had fur, and then they put the
and it had a flower.
Where in the world did you find that?
Yeah.
I bought it.
Paid money for that.
You really you paid money for that?
Paid money for that.
Yeah. I just feminized it a little bit with a flower.
Huh.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
There's been adventure. There's always an adventure with Linda. We were working at another AQS show in Daytona Beach. Do you remember what we did that one? Oh, yeah. She said, would you like to go out to dinner? And I said, yeah, let's go out to dinner. She says, I've got a car. I said, great. She puts in her little GPS thing and we go shopping, and then we put something else in there. We go like we're going to dinner. And like 25 miles later, we're in the middle of nowhere, Florida. I mean, nowhere, Florida. And she goes, I don't think this is right. I'm like, no, I don't think so either, but I don't even know where I am when we started. So she calls what is it? North Star or
OnStar.
OnStar. Well, you might as well have called North Star. She gets them, and the guy goes, where did you start? Because we were out of Daytona Beach.
We're going to Texas Roadhouse.
Yeah, we were going to go to Texas Roadhouse, and we weren't even in the right city anymore.
Were you going to Texas Roadhouse in Texas?
Yes, that's where we were going.
We could have been. Yeah.
It took us like forever. And finally, I think we ended up going back to the hotel.
Yeah.
Because we were too tired to eat at that point. No, I don't think that ever happened to me, to be too tired to eat.
Yeah, but that was an interesting. We had fun at Daytona.
Oh yeah, that was a great show, Daytona Beach.
Well, Linda took me in Kansas City, right, Linda?
I love Kansas.
You were after me. Go have a drink with me in the speakeasy of my hotel. And so we went down this tiny little flight of stairs down into the dark, dingy basement of this hotel. And it was a speakeasy. It was the neatest place. They had a great drink there, too. I forget what I got.
Always
always an adventure.
Always.
So Charlotte.
Yes.
What's a mystery quilt that you do? I mean, some people don't know. They really don't know what's a mystery quilt.
Because it's very unusual. It's incredibly different from most everybody else's mystery classes in that everything is already cut for you. And that when you get there, everybody in the class is working on the same quilt, their own, but the same design, the same colors, the same fabrics. They're all cut out. So there are some differences that would happen within the class that from another class. For instance, you don't leave your stuff at the ironing board because it looks just like everybody else's, and somebody else could have a lot larger quilt at the end if they stole all your parts. But the quilt behind me is one that I just did in a retreat that because it's all cut out and there's no thinking involved of, do I want to cut this one or do I want to cut that one, or I cut this one wrong, or mine aren't cut right. What happens is everything is cut perfectly. So you start sewing immediately. We start sewing within at least the first half hour, usually the first 15 minutes, we are already sewing.
Wow.
one of my favorite things is show and tell when you go to a large conference and they say, we're going to have show and tell on such and such a night, and your students will be there. My students show up, and a lot of them have, maybe not this one, but some of the quilts, they'll be done and they'll have a top. And then you'll see some of the other teachers where, there's so much thought and so much going into it. It's so intense. They don't have anything to show. So mine is a much more relaxed. We get to talk. We get to have a good time. It's a whole different atmosphere. And at the end, you do have a top. Sometimes they're large and sometimes they're small. Sometimes they're difficult. This one was a pretty difficult one that I did, but I knew my audience. The crowd that was coming to that particular retreat, they needed something hard. And so they got something hard.
Do you do a different one? I'm sorry, Matt.
How long does it take you to design? I think Linda and I have the same question. You do a new quilt for each class, and how long does it take you to design them?
That's why I told you. You said you wanted to see some quilts. I said, that's kind of scary, because on a good year, I might make anywhere from 15 to 25 quilts a year, just for the class. And this is my hobby too, so I get to do that every once in a while. Not as often as I'd like, although this last year and a half has been pretty productive because I've been home doing no kits pretty much in comparison to normal. It takes me probably a good week, sometimes 2 weeks to come up with a design. So when I'm really working on travel and gills and shows, a lot of times I'm designing even when I'm flying, pieces of paper, napkins, say, wow. There's all kinds of stuff that happens. This one came about because I saw a picture of an antique quilt that I thought was really spectacular, and this is dumbed down from that one. The one that I saw had even more of those little spikes coming off of the diamond kind of shape. So yeah, it comes from all kinds of places. And sometimes I use patterns that are, I don't know what they're called, public domain. Mm-hmm. They're just out there, like a churn dash or something like that. So they can be very simplistic as well. They're not all hard. In fact, very rarely are they hard, hopefully. But sometimes.
So do you have like a facility do you do your own laser cutting, or do you send it out?
No, we do our own here. My son, Jeff, is the laser cutter. So I have a studio that's separate from the house, and he has a laser studio that is perpendicular to mine. They don't connect, but we have to keep it separate because it's fire. That's what a laser is a little beam of light that burns the fabric. So he keeps it separate from us. And that's where my bolts of fabric are stored. So there's usually about 300 bolts of fabric over there.
Wow, that's a lot of inventory.
That's my stash of work. And then I have my, I'm going to be really brave. This looks like crud, but if you go this way, there's my stash. And those are my quilts and more fabric. So it's a mess, but that's mine. You can't have it. It's mine. The stuff in the shed I'll share, but you can't have that. That mess is all mine.
Yeah. So are you excited about teaching Road at Home?
I am, because I taught a Zoom class not too long ago. Well, I've done 2. And what was magnificent about it is everybody's at home. So if they say, I don't have the right, they do, because it's there. They didn't forget it. It's right there. They have all the plugs. They have the foot. They have the light. They have their iron. Everybody has their own. That works so spectacularly. I love doing the Zoom. Plus, if I have something that I really want to show them, I show them. It's like really up close and personal without having to run up to me at my desk in the front. And I absolutely love it. So yeah, I'm excited. I am, because we'll have 2 classes. We'll have 2 different kits. So yes, ta-da!
I remember the last time I saw you, we were out at Road in person.
And I had a bad knee. That was before my knee replacement. So I
Yeah,
was hobbling. I was not nice, probably. When you're in pain, it's like, okay, I'm going to try to be nice or I'm going to breathe. I have a choice. I can't do both.
We had wine.
The last year I was in Houston, I was on a scooter. And 3 days later, I had the surgery. So now I'm fine until something else breaks, I guess. I have artificial shoulders and a knee. So I'm going to try something.
You're getting close to being fully bionic.
Yes. I am going to be able to. And I still can't do jack. I don't know what. I tried to climb a ladder the other day and went, well, maybe not. I can pick things up. That's been 5-6 years, but the knee is still just a little over a year old, and it still goes. I don't think so. You're not ready. That's too big of a butt to crawl up that ladder. Don't do it.
So if you have questions for Charlotte, put them in the chat so that she has time to answer you.
I see that Levi's there. Levi's one of our students we shared, Linda.
Oh yeah, we love Levi.
We love Levi. He was in Pigeon Forge. Yeah, he was you told me he was crazy. He's not crazy. he's fine.
Was he in with
the other two crazies? Yes.
There's more.
There were more? I only had 3 of them. So maybe that's why they didn't seem.
Yeah,
so
there's a whole bunch of them.
Yeah. Yeah, there is. You ask about the laser cutting. When you actually buy a laser, and this is something that people ask me all the time about buying a laser. When you buy a laser, they'll tell you it's not made to cut fabric. That's because it catches on fire. A lot. There are times when it'll be on fire and you'll think, what is that smell? Oh no. I know what that smell is. Jeff is really good and he hasn't burned nearly as much as I thought he would. But it does catch on fire. And he does his regular job, his real job, as we spoke, so to speak. He actually works at a machine shop where they make little tiny bolts and screws and things for the oil industry and for other industries, cars and all kinds of stuff. So there's a precision already that he already had locked in. So.
Well, I know a lot about those. That's actually my dad's business is a screw machine.
Very good. Yes.
Yep.
So if he runs a certain particular kind of machine, I don't know, it has letters involved. I don't even know what it is, to be honest. I have too much information. What?
A CNC.
Yes.
Yes.
That's the machine he uses. Yes. It's so interesting because I hear it and I know what it is, but I can only store so many things. And then I run out of space. So I just kind of click that one away.
Oh, yes. So Jill is asking about your book, and are you going to write another one?
Oh, my book?
Yes, your book.
Okay. Well, my book is probably, in my opinion, one of the best written books there is because I wrote it with Debbie Caffrey. And she's very math oriented, and I'm not. I'm color oriented and fabric oriented and fun oriented, and she's still over there with the math oriented. So the book is split in half so that you're going to get all of her math formulas for all of you that like to balance your checkbooks and things like that. And then there's all the rest of us. And the rest of us use the other half of the book, which is my half, which is no math. And you can do the same kind of things that she's doing, just no math. And it fascinates me that people would rather do math, and they are fascinated that I don't want to. But I ask questions like, now, how would you do that? And it always comes up, well, you split it in half. No, that's math. How would you do that? I don't know if I can't split it in half. So that's the kind of stuff I do, even though half is easy because every woman on earth can go to a half price sale and know what the price is. But still, my book is written that way. So there's 12 patterns in it. We weren't even going to put the directions because we figured if you read the first half of the book, just about, you would know how to do it. But then we wrote the instructions as well. 6 of the patterns are mine. 6 of them are Debbie's. All the math and all the way we cut things and how we work things are in the front of the book. So you can use that as a reference forever and ever, whether you use the patterns or not. It's even a little bit of color in there.
Oh.
So that's...
Is your book available for purchase on your website?
My website, it sure is. And there's also a DVD that's available that's a standalone that goes with the book if you want, more information on certain things. Debbie does her power cutting on the DVD. Most of the best part of the DVD is the outtakes at the end.
Oh.
You know what that's like. The very first thing that you do, you go, "Hi, my name is," and you can't remember your name. So we have a few, that kind of stuff. So yeah, it's very. He's like, "Hi, my name," and Debbie was doing it. She went, "Hi, my name is Dow." No, we did that about 5 times, and then finally I said, "How about this? I'll go first." And so I go first in the real taping, and it was easy. You have to. It's good to have 2 people because then
Absolutely.
you can always pawn it off on the other person. Oh, I remember her. I see somebody said they took my class. I could never say her name.
I don't even want to try it.
I know that's a hard name. I had lunch with her, I think.
Being from New Jersey, I could butcher any name.
You could. Oh, she should put it
I don't
in.
think you have to be from New Jersey to do that, Linda.
I could do it all by myself anytime. But
Siri don't understand me.
oh, Siri, well, why would she? Oh, the missing triangle T-shirt. I have a T-shirt that. What happened? I was teaching a class, and this is the truth. You don't have to make up stuff, just so you know. I was teaching a class at a big conference, and this this lady. There's always somebody in class that's just a toad. She's just, a real pill. And I don't know why she always takes my class, but she manages to find me. And this woman was sitting on the front row, and she said, "I'm missing a triangle." And that is very possible because the fabrics stick together. You pick 2 up. So normally I go up and I'll say, "Can I help you find it?" And I'll grab their triangles and start moving them around, helping them look for it. And she said, "Don't touch my stuff." And I thought, like, I haven't touched it before. It's the kid I gave you. Okay. And I backed off thinking that's kind of crazy because in reality, and these are just laying here. I have all the parts in a bag that are extra just in case somebody tries to sew something and it goes down in the little hole or it rips apart or it's not cut right. There are times when something's not right. So I just backed off and I thought, look for it yourself, and I marked, and she stood up and she said, "I'm going to the restroom. And when I return, I expect that triangle on my table." And she turned around and walked off and the triangle was on her butt. I was like, "Don't laugh, don't laugh, don't laugh." And nobody was sewing because by this time they thought I was going to have a hissy fit or something, I guess. And I didn't say anything. The door closed and everybody just roared and laughed her. And I thought, that's the best karma ever. ever. So because I am this kind of a person, I figure I have a T-shirt now and I sell them to anybody and everybody. They're not on my website. You have to actually email me because I usually just bring them to my class. But if you've heard the story, you'll enjoy the T-shirt. It says "one triangle short of a quilt," and on the back there's a T-shirt on the butt. It's so funny because you go to a conference where I've been and everybody's wearing these T-shirts like we're looking for her. And what I love the most is when somebody comes up to me very quietly and says, "She's in our guild." And I go, "You don't even know who she is," because I don't know her name either. They're like, "Oh no, she's in our guild." I said, "Everywhere. There's one in every guild." And then I had a lady, when I said there's one in every guild, she said, "No, ours moved." I mean, it's like, but they always know who she is. That's funny to me. Very funny.
Yeah.
So that's the story of the T-shirt.
Aha.
Okay, do I use graph paper? I do, and I don't. All right. I use graph paper when I am away from my computer, but eventually I have to put it on an EQ program, the electric quilt. It has to go that way because that's how I send the pattern and the design to Jeff to cut it on the laser. He has to have a little bit more than my little scribble on a Delta napkin from my flight. So there. I do use graph paper on occasion, and sometimes I actually have been eating dinner and had an epiphany of a design, and I'll be right back and run over to the studio and draw something really fast on a piece of paper, usually graph paper, and then go back and finish dinner. Because sometimes my ideas are fleeting and I have the memory cells of a plant. So I have to hurry through and grab them while I can. It's like the muse before she flies off and takes that with her. So, yeah.
Well,
Oh,
so
it's okay.
we're moving along. Is it almost time?
Oh, there. Okay, so there's the pronunciation.
Yes.
All right. What's the last one? Do your last name.
Uh-oh. Linda's going to try. Oh, no.
Try it. Is
Amarascara, like mascara. Amarascara. Am I close?
But, I mean, I'm lucky I got Angotti, and why my mother gave me a first name with that many letters, it's beyond me. It doesn't fit on anything. She has even more trouble, I bet, getting something printed. My name never shows up on those little keys or little mugs or anything. Never fits.
Yes. Oh, look at that. Look at that, Linda.
You did good, Linda. Yay.
I got it. See, something paid off.
Yeah, really.
Something paid off.
Well, let's see some quilts.
Well, like I said, the one behind me is it's blowing because the air conditioner's on. It's 80 degrees here. 66 sounds so nice where you are.
I like that quote.
I do too. The one underneath it is kind of cool too, though. And it's an actual quilt, whereas this one is a top. I tend to go for more bright colors, which you don't like looking at my rear end. I'm sorry.
Well, we can see if there's any triangles on it.
Yeah, really. Or any missing. Yeah. Okay, this one was actually also a let me surprise you at a quilt show. And what was neat about it was, as I said, they're already cut out for you. But on this one, you could actually interchange what colors you wanted your house to be. And what I did was I messed up on a couple of them and then just made it like the crazy lady's house. Can you see that one? The one that the neighborhood problem, kind of thing. So that was a fun class. There was a few ladies in there that actually all their houses messed up like that. They were all, and then the next year when they came back, some of them had embellished the houses with trees and stuff. It was really fun. My students are very creative, and that's what's really wonderful about the kids. Yes, it's all the same in class, but you can take them and do whatever you want to with them. I've got quite a few people that do that on purpose all the time, and there have been some that have brought them back, and I don't even recognize them. It's fabulous. I just absolutely love it. You can follow me or you can lead. I'm good with either.
I think that's one of the most rewarding things when
it is when a student really takes off. It's fabulous. I have another thing that I do quarterly, which is offered if you email me and get on a list to get the mystery. It's the Mystery Kit Club, and I offer it every 3 months. It's different every 3 months. There's a different kit. One just went out last week. People are working on them now. You never know what colors, you never know anything, but it's all cut out. It's we do them just for the mystery. This is just this, and we only cut what's ordered. So it takes us about 3 to 4 weeks to get them cut. because other things are happening as well. This one we got out pretty quick. We were very impressed with ourselves. But see, things happen. It's kind of embarrassing, but things happen. Like I can say, I want the color here to be blue or the color here to be purple. And it doesn't always happen. So we have things that have to be corrected as we go. Then there are times when the sashing in the last one they were 15.5-inch blocks. And unfortunately they got cut, the sashing 15 inches. That doesn't work. So all that had to be scrapped and another thing cut. So it sometimes, but at least we found it before it got shipped.
Oh, yeah.
You have to look at that silver lining kind of thing.
Absolutely.
This was one of the mysteries this year. And what's neat about the border was something that I added to mine, and I added the sashing as well. The blocks were all that were in the kit. So I pulled a fabric from my stash for the sashing, and I added a fabric for the border. So I was trying to show them you can also add. You don't have to just go block to block. And when they go block to block, they have points to match. When you go with sashing, not so much. So I like sashing. Sashing is my friend. A lot of times sashing's included in the kit, but I didn't that time. This is an older quilt, and it was not a kit. This was one of those fabrics that it was a Moda fabric. And when I went to Moda and said, I'd love to have about 10 bolts of this fabric, that guy looked at me and went, we made that fabric? Why would we make that fabric? Because it's like little chunky swimming ladies. And I said, because it's like quilters at the pool. And he went, I can't believe you bought that. I said, I want 10 more bolts. He was like, I can't. And they never made it again. I think they made it in another color too. But I made it so that it was, it's one of those things when you're having moments with your mother that aren't as exactly positive. I was arguing with her, I think, over the phone. And just to get through it, I went through my stash and found fabrics that reminded me of her bathing suits from when I was a child. And then I put them together with this. So it's like my own funny little thing. So then the next time when she came into my house, I had it over the couch. And she was like, this is really a funny little quilt. I had bathing suits just like all these fabrics. So I did
actually collect them.
Those are probably worth a fortune nowadays.
Yeah, not really. Because even the motor rep didn't know he made this. Okay. And this looks like a swimming pool, doesn't it? Like swimming pool. Okay, we're coming in. Can you see the little girl swimming? Isn't she cute? Aren't they cute? They're so funny. I think they're hysterical. They got inner tubes. It looks like she's doing backstroke. I don't know. See, my mother can't swim, and that's another reason it's funny. My favorite story with my mom was that I was a lifeguard. She made sure that I could swim because she really thought I was going to save her. That's funny. I mean, she'll say that now because she wanted me to go out there and save her. We would go to the beach in Florida. We went to Panama City Beach, and she would go. She can't swim, so she would ask me to take her on the raft, which was one of those canvas rafts, and I would pull her over the waves, and we would go over the waves. And most of the time, the Gulf is like, anyway, but we would go on the wavy days. And because I was like 16, 17 years old, she wanted me to be too tired to go down to the pavilion area where there's a Ferris wheel and the rides and the boys. So if I was too tired, I couldn't go there. So 10, 15 times a day, she would have me going out into those waves. And then she would get out there And the waves in the Gulf are probably different than the Pacific and the Atlantic. All right. In the Gulf, there are a lot of warm little waves of water. So if you're in that water and you're holding on, and my mother would go, "You feel that?" And you'd think, "Oh my God, my mother just peed in the ocean." And I would let go of the raft because it was a warm current. I didn't, it could be that she did that. She was announcing it. So I'm thinking, so I would let go of it, and then she would swim, kicking her feet with the raft, and now I'm stuck out in the deep water, treading water. And then I would swim back in, and she'd go, "Let's do it again." Mm-hmm. And we would do that. We did that 10, 15 times a day. It was like all day. And she would talk to me, and then, "You feel something warm?" Get your attention. I actually made a quilt about that too. Yeah, has a big yellow streak running through it. I didn't bring that one out today. Most of my quilts are like that. They're like little things of. This
They tell
one,
stories.
yeah, I tell stories with my quilts. Now this one I don't. This one was just fun, and it's a little tiny table runner. It's very rare that I do something this small, but I really like it. Let's see if I can find some more pins. What's neat, I think, with the way I do stuff is that I'm not locked into one kind of quilt or one color or anything like that. These are very tiny little friendship stars, and they just kind of go down.
That's cute.
Oh, that's very neat.
Yeah. So it's kind of modern and not real traditional. I usually do traditional stuff, but to me, that one's a little bit more modern. I kind of like it. So I could keep going, but I know y'all got other things to talk about too. Did anybody else
Any
have
more questions? Yeah. Not looking like that. So what we're going to do is we're going to thank you, Charlotte, so much. It was a blast. Absolutely. Make sure Charlotte's classes will be released on the website for you all to take a look at sometime the end of this month. But on April 1st, mark your calendars for April 1st, you can register for Charlotte's class on our website.
I sure would like to see
Woohoo!
Woohoo! Yeah.
At 8 o'clock in the morning Pacific Daylight Time. Because remember, we're now on daylight time, that wonderful spring forward.
Oh, somebody missed my stories. You should trade places with my husband. He don't miss them. He is so tired of them. I tell you what, he's like, Thank you so much for having me. I look forward to seeing you,
Charlotte.
Thank you, Charlotte.
Yep.
Bye.
We'll talk again soon. Bye-bye.
Okay.
What's
All right, and
next?
now we are going to switch to Stevie Graves for her product review segment.
Ooh, what is she reviewing today?
I don't know. We'll just have to find out.
Hello. Well, today I think somebody bribed me. No, they didn't really. But today we're going to talk about a book that Linda has done. Her little journal. Her little journal. I love the fact that it's got this elastic on it. And Linda is obviously more in tune to keeping track of things than I am, because sometimes I think it's embarrassing to keep track of things. But I do love this book because she starts out, Jillian, I don't know if you're going to do pictures or you want me to show it, but okay. This is the very beginning of the book. I don't know why I can't figure out where I'm going on this thing, but it gives you what I think is the best thing is telling you what size a quilt is to go on a twin bed or a full bed or a queen bed, because I never remember that. I always have to look it up. So it's right here. And also some descriptions of some commonly used words like a UFO or a WOF, which is mean with the fabric and that sort of thing. And then the book goes on to there's a section for you to put names and contact for your quilt appraisers, your long arm quilters, and the quilt groups that you belong to. So, and then there's a section so that you can do a wish list of classes that you want to take. I mean, I know from listening to Charlotte, I want to take a class with Charlotte. And then works in progress. Now, I laughed when I saw that because I thought there's no way that I could put enough. That's work in progress. That means UFO. So, but I counted up. There's a slot for 80 UFOs in here. Even I don't have that many. And if I did, I don't know I'd probably just keep buying more. I don't know. And then there's a section on classes, how if you went to a class and how you prepared for your class and who the teacher was and the fabrics you used. And then there is a wonderful section for finished projects and a place for the photo and all sorts of information that you can keep track of what you have used, for who quilted it, with the batting you used, who you gave it to, all that sort of thing. It's really a wonderful resource. So I think very well done, Miss Linda Hahn.
Thank you very much.
It's like there's a section on how many squares you can get out of different yardage, which is important. Unless you're buying a kit, and what size block to cut if you're going to do a half square triangle. I just think this book has just got lots and lots of great resource, and it's all in one place so that you wouldn't lose anything. So, do you agree, Linda?
I agree, and it fits in most purses.
Yes, it does. It does. So one of the other things with keeping track of quilts that you've started or finished is that there is an important thing that a quilt is really not finished until you put a label on it. I often make quilts for friends that are writing books and stuff, and twice now people have tried to sell my quilt. I'm not going to say who it is. But not that I wanted, no, it wasn't Linda, and not that I wanted it back, but just in case, if people might want to know who actually made the quilt. So it's important to put labels on, and there's different ways to put labels on, different ways you can put labels on. You can buy pre-printed, that's upside down. Pre-printed labels, you just cut it off and then you write on the different things, and then you can sew that on your quilt. You can put on the back, use an old block. This one you'd have to use a silver pen to write, or you could write up here in the lighter sections. And the information should be your name, the year, the title of the quilt. If it's a quilt that's like traveling to shows or something, you would want to put an email address or a phone number or something, so that if it does get misplaced, at least it can find its way back home.
Stevie.
Yes.
Is there a specific kind of pen that you would suggest using with a label?
Yes, I like Pigma pens because they come in different widths, but they're fine enough so that you can put them on a piece of sandpaper or even a cutting mat, and or put freezer paper on the back of the fabric, and you can write on it very easily. So another way you could create your own labels like this fabric is light enough you could, you know, you might be doing this for somebody from Texas, and it looks like a cowboy kind of thing. Or the thing that I like to do, this is an old hanky, and you can cut, I mean, that's a quarter of it. So, I mean, you could put your whole life history on this one. Or you can cut it down to the size that you need. My favorite way of things to use for labels are old cocktail napkins. Look at that. Yep, you're looking at the right side. That's got a little chicken on it. And so you can just write away on that thing and then just applique it down to the back of your quilt. And somehow or no, I don't even know where I got these from. And I don't even know what they were for, but another chicken thing. And I have used these for labels. So to put your label on, you can. What are you laughing about?
The chicken.
Oh, the chicken. Yes. So you can I like to put the label in the seam that I'm going to put the binding on. Oops. So this is already, I just used a little glue stick and tacked that one down. The top, this seam and this seam I've turned under with an iron so that I can hand applique or machine applique it down. But then that seam gets into the seam so it doesn't come off. Or you can actually, sometimes you can do it as a triangle. And if you want, you can leave the open part of the triangle and make this triangle bigger, and you can stuff some information on it. That would only be for a wall hanging. On this particular quilt, this is the quilt. I actually wrote on the hanging sleeve as my label.
Oh, that's a great idea.
Sometimes I've written it on the binding, and this quilt is huge. I can't really show it to you in its entirety, but I used to make my son's boxer shorts. So I took all the crazy fabric I made with boxer shorts and made this quilt for my son. And the label has nothing really to do with the front, but it has something to do with the recipient. Let's see, there it is. Oops. So I had this piece of fabric that had wolves on it. This particular son loves wolves. We almost named him William Wolfgang, but I decided my husband was nuts. But this kid could have been called Wolf. I mean, it wouldn't have been out of character at all. So I wrote down the name of the quilt and who it was from and who made it. So, and it's here because his wife doesn't like quilts, but I do. So anyway,
all those fabrics, those are your son's boxer shorts?
Yes.
Does he know you're showing us his shorts?
Oh, I mean, this quilt is pretty old.
Okay.
But yes, both of my sons had crazy boxer shorts. So the oldest son was in Desert Storm. He was with the 82nd Airborne, and he wrote home and said he was tired of brown Army underwear. So I started sending him, the putty, you are a putty tat underwear, or there's San Diego Chargers, there's money, there's just cartoon stuff. And so here he was. He's probably the only one over in that war that wasn't wearing brown underwear. He was wearing some crazy stuff. So, but anyway, I do think that labels are important, and I would encourage you to label your quilts. The name of the book is My Quilting Journal, Linda Hahn, and it's a Fox Chapel book, right?
It is Fox Chapel Publishing.
Yes. Yes. It also would be a great gift for your fellow quilters. So
$10.
great gift. Huh?
It's only $10.
I know it's only $10. That's very reasonable. So, all right, that's it. I'm going back to my Oreos. Oh, where's the Oreo picture? Remember, you guys are supposed to be taking pictures of Oreos. I am.
My husband eats them.
Well, that could be a picture.
Yeah. Well, if you might see him walking back. If anybody looks like he's flashing, it's him. He's walking back and forth just in case.
So, Jillian, do we have the Oreo picture? Oh, they said they didn't get an Oreo picture, but oh, maybe I forgot to send it. So I'll show it next week because I took it today. So thank you so much. See you next week.
Thank you, Stevie.
All right, we have one question for you guys. How would they order that book?
You can go on my website, www.froghollowdesigns.com, froghollowdesigns.com, and you can order it.
Wonderful. Thank you, Stevie. All right, so the next thing on my list here is to announce the winners of last week's raffle from Patience Griffin. So the winner of Patience Griffin's One Snowy Night book is Sienna Powell. See, the next winner of the Banyan Batiks Kilts and Quilts Fat Quarter bundle is Leslie Kennedy. And the winner of, oh my gosh.
What?
I am going to butcher this. Gandy Gal Library Quilt Pattern. That cool quilt she had behind her is Jean Garrettson. Now, if I mispronounced your name, I'm not from Jersey, but I don't need to be from Jersey to mess up a name. So I am sorry. But those are our 3 raffle winners. Please email us your information so we can send you your prize. Next, we are on to the UFO graveyard.
And
So
we
which has actually kind of turned itself into a UFO kind of help column, an Ask Matt and Linda column. So let's put up UFO number 1. Nancy submitted this one's called Flowers and Grids. She says, I think this is a mess. I can't seem to get the transitions right between the flowers and the grid background, and the flowers seem static. Maybe I should rework them.
I gotta look at this on my phone. It's not coming up on my computer. Well, I'm thinking you're probably right. There's a lot of plaid in there. There's a lot of plaid in there. You know what? I think this one might be a candidate for the ditch it.
I think especially because it looks like it's on a design wall and she hasn't done more than stitch the blocks together. I think she could repurpose those blocks into another project. But I think this is in its current state. I'm not so certain it works. I feel like the grid pattern and then the blocks in front, they're distracting. So let's see. Do we have any comments from the audience on this one? Doesn't sound like we have much. I do like the blue checkerboard. I think that would be a cool kind of contrast, but I'm not seeing this, and I kind of agree with her that it's kind of a mess. So I'm with you, Linda. I think this is a ditch it.
Yeah, just a ditch it.
All right, let's move on to number 2. This one is submitted by our own Stevie Graves.
Oh, so now do I have to say something nice?
I don't know. I'm sure she's still listening. The project name is Wine Bottles. It says it's not finished because she ran out of ideas. She's not sure about the popcorn wine. Well, Linda, you and I know wine, so what do you think?
And my wine bottles don't look like that.
Yeah, neither do mine.
She must have been drinking all the wine when she was cutting these bottles out.
Ooh. Ooh.
Happy hour. There we
That's
go.
an
There's a
interesting
name
thought.
for it.
Happy Hour. I like that name. Now, let's see. It looks like she's got some green beans and some kiwis. Huh.
That's what you make. Is there some wines maybe made with some oranges or?
Well, haven't you ever had an orange mimosa?
No.
You've never had a mimosa?
Oh wait, yes, I have one of those. That's the one with champagne.
Right. Or sparkling wine if you buy the stuff not from Champagne, France.
No. What else is in there? There's some red stuff. I got to look at it on my phone because I can't see it on the computer. What?
I mean, I do eat
Cookies and
chocolate chip
wine?
cookies and wine, but I don't really make wine out of chocolate chip cookies.
Jill, aren't you tired by now? I worked her this morning. Jill. I like the individual watch. I think maybe with a border that has maybe some wine glasses or some wine glass cornerstones or something for some place to pour all these interesting wine bottles. What do you think, Matt?
Yes, it does need wine labels. I agree with Bill on this one. Wine labels would help. I actually think you could, if you have one of those fancy like sewing machines, the machine embroidery machines, you could embroider a funny label to go on each one of these things. That would make this kind of fun, you know? And one thing I think it's missing is the there's nothing like the wine bottle is just set right on the fabric, but I don't see any dimension. You know what I mean? Like it almost seems like they're traffic cones.
What about some trapunto with the labels and some trapunto?
That would work, or even just like a little outline on. No, that'd make it busy. No, never mind. I don't know what I'm talking about. Ignore that. I think you put a cap on it, and then you put a label on it. A label would be kind of neat.
Corks. Who is this Bill coming up with all these things?
I don't know, but you're right. It needs a cork, or I mean, green bean wine would probably be screw top wine if you ask me. I don't know if you'd use fancy corks on green bean wine. I don't know.
Cork and labels, yeah.
Cork and labels. Yeah, I agree with that. I think this is a stitch it. I think you could finish it, and maybe she could give it to her daughter-in-law. We heard her say her daughter-in-law loves quilts.
Are these more fabrics from her son's underwear?
Ooh, you know what? It might be.
I don't want to go there.
Yeah, neither do I. I don't want that phone call to happen.
No.
Interesting. Well, I think this one's a stitch it. What do you think, Linda?
I think it's a stitch it. Yeah, I think it's a stitch it.
I think so too. So as you've noticed, we're not exactly being mean about these quilts unless Stevie puts them on here. We're really, this is kind of an advice column help situation. So Jillian is going to pop in the comment section the Google form. Make sure you hop on there and submit your UFOs for Linda and I to chit chat about. Linda will be giving away starting next week to every person who we select to have their UFO on the UFO graveyard a free PDF pattern, right, Linda?
Yes. And, enter. This way you can get a new pattern in case we ditch your quilt. You'll have something new to work on.
Absolutely. And one other thing that is on there, we are going to give away something really awesome. It's a prize pack for Road at Home May coming up. And I'm not going to tell you what it is yet, but you really want to enter and get your UFOs on here because I can tell you it's a really nice prize selection.
Yeah.
So get on that Google form, upload some pictures, and you never know. It might be your UFO in the graveyard next.
Yeah.
Yep. So thank you everyone for watching. It's So Road, our third episode with Charlotte Angotti. Next week, we do not have a special guest. Linda and I will be interviewing.
No, we do.
We do?
We do. We have Diane Murphy next week.
No, that's the next week, Linda.
31st.
That's the 31st.
Oh.
The producer is shaking her head. See, this
Okay.
is why you don't let us run the place. We don't know what we're talking about.
Yeah.
Jillian's the one in charge back here behind the scenes.
I go where
So
I'm
next, exactly. So next week it's going to be Linda and I interviewing each other, giving you kind of a behind the scenes view of It's So Road and how we're kind of have this set up and working. And it'll be open question. It'll be an ask me anything. Don't really know why we're doing it AMA, but ask us anything and we will try our best to answer. So we will see you next week at the same time on the same day, Wednesday at 11 a.m. Pacific Daylight Time. And thank you for watching.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.